to open coinmarketcap.com. This is going to be a major resource throughout this entire Udemy course. So in the resources box here, you will see a link that says coinmarketcap.com. I want you to open it up and you should have the page pop up in front of you just like it has here. Now coinmarketcap.com lists every single cryptocurrency in existence, the current price, the volume, circulating supply, and lots of other really good information. We'll be referring to this a lot throughout the duration of this course, so make sure you keep it open, and it contains a lot of good information if you ever want to go and have a look at a bit more. Okay, so let's get straight into it, guys. What is Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is this digital thing that somehow just seems to keep going up in value. It keeps popping up in the media. It keeps getting shunned by bankers. It keeps getting shunned by governments. So what the heck is it? Well, let's have a little bit of a closer look. If we click on Bitcoin at the top here, we can see it's currently trading for $8,000. Wow, that is crazy. That's a lot of money. And guess what? Just 1 year ago, let's have a look. Just 1 year ago, Bitcoin was trading for $734. So that's over a 10 times increase in price in just 1 year. So why does it keep going up in value? Why do we keep hearing about it? Well, we're going to get into that in just a minute. But first off, I just want to show you some really basic things that will give you a good understanding for not only Bitcoin, but for all the cryptocurrencies. So the first thing I want to show you is something called the market cap. Now, what the market cap actually is, and this is a term that's used in the stock market a lot, is it's purely just the amount of circulating supply of a particular asset, say a stock or a share, or in our case, a cryptocurrency, multiplied by its current price. So let's just do a quick calculation. So the current market capital of Bitcoin is $133 billion, or $133.8 billion, and the current price is $8,020. So if we have a look over here, we can see the circulating supply. Now, the circulating supply of Bitcoin means the amount of Bitcoin out there in the open market that can be bought and that can be sold. Now, the maximum supply is the maximum amount of Bitcoin that will ever exist. In fact, it's actually written into Bitcoin's mathematical code that no more and no less Bitcoin will ever exist. Okay, so we know what the maximum supply is, but we are only concerned again by that circulating supply because that's what's there out in the market at the moment. We don't want to worry about the maximum supply just at this point. So let's do a quick calculation to make sure that we know how this market capital actually works. So multiplying the circulating supply, which is 16,693,612 by the current price, which is $8,020, we get 1.33 or $133 billion. That's how easy it is to work out the market capital, and the market capital is a good way of gauging just how big a certain company or a certain cryptocurrency is. Now, Bitcoin is the numero uno. If we come back here to the main page, we can see Bitcoin is number one. It has a current market cap of $179 billion Australian, but we generally like to look at things in US dollars because the US dollar is a good global currency to compare every other cryptocurrency to. So you have Bitcoin at $136 billion, Ethereum at 35, Bitcoin Cash at 20. Nothing comes close to Bitcoin. It is the biggest, it is the oldest, and it was the first. So with that out of the way, let's go and have a little bit more of a look about what is Bitcoin and how it's actually used. So you've come to this course because you want to learn more about Bitcoin, you want to learn more about cryptocurrencies, and potentially you want to even learn how to invest into this brand new amazing asset class as well. Well, you're not the only one. In front of you is a Google trend search for the word Bitcoin over the past 5 years. Now, as we can see, there is a general trend upwards. And in fact, in the last couple of years, we can see almost an exponential curve in the amount of people searching for Bitcoin. So again, you're not the only one, and this really is starting to become a global phenomenon. Now here we have a curve that represents the amount of transactions that are happening on the Bitcoin network over the past 5 years. Again, we are starting to see an exponential increase in the amount of transactions. What's that mean? It means more people are using Bitcoin, more people are buying it, more people are transacting with it, more people are sending it to one another. The Bitcoin network is getting busier and busier by the day. Now here we have the amount of wallets created. What's a wallet? We'll get into that in just a bit. But this again is a 5-year graph showing the number of wallets that are being created on the Bitcoin network every day. And again, it's an exponential curve. In fact, it's nearly exactly the same as the number of transactions. So we can see these two bits of data correlate that show more people are becoming active in Bitcoin, more people are downloading these wallets and using them, and overall more people are just starting to get involved in using Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies every day. Okay, so let's say you buy some Bitcoin, what do you do with it? Well, you can spend it. Now we are in the early days and not a lot of places take it yet, but more and more are coming every day. In front of you is a map of downtown Sydney CBD. All these places on the map are places that accept Bitcoin as payment. So instead of you using your debit card, you can use your phone. And no, it's not linked to your bank, it's linked to your Bitcoin wallet. There is no bank. So when you have Bitcoin, you are the bank. So you can walk into one of these places. Let's have a little bit of a closer look and let's find somewhere. So let's just say we want to go to a cafe. We can walk into Greenhouse Cafe, we can buy a meal and we can pay for it in Bitcoin without any bank or any financial institution having to be involved because Bitcoin is decentralized. You are the bank, you are the wallet. So what else can you do with Bitcoin? Well, you can pay your bills with it. Over here on Living Room of Satoshi, an Australian-based company and site, you can pay for your bills using Bitcoin with BPay. You can pay a credit card. You can send Bitcoin straight to your bank account if you want to convert it to Australian dollars. So here we have Bitcoin ATMs in Australia. So what the heck is a Bitcoin ATM? Well, a Bitcoin ATM is where you can walk straight up to it, you can feed it Australian dollars, it will print you out a receipt with the amount of Bitcoin on a wallet for you. So it basically goes and buys some Bitcoin from an exchange for you, prints you out a receipt and gives you your Bitcoin. And the opposite can be used as well. You can scan your QR code or your wallet and you can get Australian dollars straight out of the ATM. So I know this seems a bit overwhelming and we will get into the technical detail a little bit more, but just quickly, how does Bitcoin work? Well, it works on a decentralized system. So Bitcoin is basically a program that runs over the internet. There are miners around the world, there are nodes around the world that verify these transactions. So at the moment, when we have a bank is a centralized institution that manages our money for us. They use databases, they use a lot of human processing to process transactions to generate loans, etc., etc. So this decentralized system works by basically managing the protocol of the Bitcoin blockchain that's running over the internet. So if I send a transaction to you, if I get my phone with my Bitcoin wallet and I want to send a transaction to you, there are nodes all around the world. Anyone can be a node, and there are these special miners that verify these transactions for us. So instead of that bank being needed to be used, without that centralized institution to be used, it's completely decentralized. What you're viewing right now in front of you are live Bitcoin transactions happening on the Bitcoin network. See this? Every single time one of these goes past, this is someone in the world sending Bitcoin to someone else. What you're seeing here with these codes and these numbers are wallet A and wallet B. And what you're seeing over here is the quantity of Bitcoin being sent. This is live. This is the amazing thing about Bitcoin. The network that operates Bitcoin, or the blockchain, is public. We can see anything happening on the Bitcoin network at any time. We don't know who owns these wallet addresses because Bitcoin is pseudonymous, which means that we can see how much money people have in their Bitcoin wallets, or we can see how many transactions happen, but we don't know who owns them unless that person explicitly says that they own this particular Bitcoin wallet. So this is amazing stuff, guys. This is live 24/7 transactions happening on the Bitcoin network right now. So how do these transactions get confirmed? Well, there's two ways. There's nodes and there's miners. What you're seeing in front of you is a picture of a Bitcoin mine located in China. So a Bitcoin mine is basically a bunch of paralleled computers that have been set up that run a special client to verify transactions on the network. Basically, without getting too technical, these miners compete with the amount of processing power they have. If they win the little competition that's run in the mathematical code in the background, they get awarded in Bitcoins. So when they get awarded Bitcoins, the circulating supply increases as it slowly leads up to that maximum supply. Now the second way is by running a node. Now miners and nodes are very different, but anyone can run a node. You can download the Bitcoin Core, it runs in the background of your computer, and it helps to verify transactions on the network, and it helps to keep the Bitcoin network strong. This is that distributed system we were talking about before. It's extremely decentralized, and Bitcoin is spread all over the world. Now this is a pie chart of the biggest miners operating around the world. Now the size of the pie chart basically is the size or the control that certain mining operation has over the verifications of transactions on the network. Basically means that they have more computers. So as we can see here, we've got BTC.com, Antpool, BTC Top. A lot of these operate out of China, by the way. Now why would they operate out of China? Well, because China has cheap electricity. These huge mining farms, as we can see here, use a ton of electricity. And in fact, as Bitcoin grows and as more people use it, more processing power is being required to make it profitable for the miners. So the more processing power, the more electricity these processors and these computers use. So we can see here we've got Bitcoin Russia, Bitcoin India, Batpool, Bitcoin.com. These are all these major miners around the world, but there are quite a few smaller miners. As you can see here in this unknown, this 1.7%, there are quite a lot of small miners around the world. But again, as Bitcoin grows and it requires more energy and more processing power, it is becoming more and more difficult for everyday Joes to run a Bitcoin mining network and to actually make enough revenue for it to be profitable. Back in the old days, anyone could run a Bitcoin mining operation. You could run it from your own home computer, and people were making hundreds of Bitcoins back when Bitcoin was really, really cheap quite a few years ago just by running a mining operation. But again, it's becoming very competitive. Based on the processing power that's being required to verify these transactions. So here we have the nodes that are running around the world. So we can see there's a heap in the United States, there's some in South America, there's a lot around Europe, and there's some in Australia. Now these nodes, as we talked about before, all you gotta do is download a Bitcoin client core. You don't get any reward for it, but you're helping to contribute to the strength of the Bitcoin network, and you're doing something good for Bitcoin. You'll learn over time that Bitcoin has the community is very passionate about Bitcoin because of its decentralized nature. It's freedom. People see Bitcoin as freedom. They see it as a way to get away from having to use bank accounts, because anyone can create a Bitcoin wallet, which is just absolutely amazing. It doesn't matter who you are, and all you need is a phone. So a bit more about how Bitcoins are actually created. So basically, the code that runs over Bitcoin, or the script that runs on the clients, has been mathematically programmed to produce Bitcoins at a certain rate. Now it's done this to stop any form of inflation. Bitcoin is inherently programmed and mathematically designed to stop inflation and to be deflationary. So here we have a graph that represents the amount of Bitcoins that have been created over time. So we can see here back in 2009 when Bitcoin was first released up to about now, so about 8 years later, If we draw a line right up here, we can basically see that there's about 16 million Bitcoins have been released. Now we can see that curve is starting to slow down, right? So every few years, the amount of Bitcoins that are being produced slows down. So instead of a traditional central bank that prints money into circulation that can actually control inflation, Bitcoin, you cannot control the inflation. These numbers of Bitcoins that are released is written into the code. No one can modify it, no one can change it. So this is the amazing thing about Bitcoin, and this is part of the reason why Bitcoin is going up so much in value at the moment, is the production of Bitcoins is starting to slow down. So coming back over here to coinmarketcap.com, this period along here, from about 2013 up to about 2015, a lot of Bitcoins were being created. And because we have supply and demand economics that control the value of Bitcoin, there was a lot of supply coming into the market, but the supply is starting to slow down and the demand is starting to go up, which is why Bitcoin is going up so much in value so quick. Now remember how I said before that Bitcoin wallet addresses were public and that you can view any data and any statistic on the Bitcoin network at any time? Well, what you're seeing in front of you is the top 100 richest Bitcoin addresses in the world. So these addresses, these wallet addresses, are basically like, think of it like your home address, but for your Bitcoin. So with a traditional bank, you have an account number, you have a BSB, you have these details that people need to send you money. Well, your Bitcoin address is just like your account number with your bank, except it doesn't sit with the bank, it sits with you. You control it. And it's on your phone or it's on your computer. No one else is in control other than you. And without the private key, which we'll get into a little bit later, the private key is different to the wallet. No one can touch your Bitcoin. It is unhackable and it is immutable. So let's check out some of these addresses. So we can see here this top address has 146,000 Bitcoins. Well, guess how much that is in US dollars? $1.1 billion of Bitcoin. Let's have a little bit of a look more. We'll click on this address and we'll have a look at some of the other information. So what you're seeing here is basically the transactions that's happened through this wallet address. Now again, Bitcoin is public. Everything on the Bitcoin network is public information. Anyone can view this at any time. This QR code is merely just a quick way to get this person's address. I could send this person Bitcoin if I wanted to. I could scan their QR code, I get their wallet address, and I could send them Bitcoin. Now I'm not going to. In fact, I wish they'd send me some damn Bitcoin, but we can just see how much money they have and all their transactions. Now what you're seeing in front of you is all the transactions that this person has done out of this wallet address. So truly amazing stuff, guys. Now again, Bitcoin is pseudonymous. We don't know who owns this wallet address. We merely know it exists and we can merely see all the data inside it. If this person came out and said, I own this wallet address, it is mine, then we would know. Okay, so how do we create a wallet and what's all this wallet stuff? Well, we're going to get into that more later on, but I just want to show you how easy it is and how amazing it is and why cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin are going to change the world. So in front of you, you're seeing all the information I need to create a Bitcoin wallet. I've put in my email, I've put in a password, I've agreed to the terms of service, continue. Now watch just how easy this is. And we're done. That took 5 seconds. I now have a Bitcoin wallet on blockchain.info. Isn't that incredible? That is all it took. It didn't require me to register my name. It didn't require a passport. It didn't require a birth certificate. Nothing. All I had to do was put in an email, a password, and boom, I have a Bitcoin wallet. And to be honest, most other Bitcoin wallets don't even require you to do that. So now all I need to do, if I want to request some Bitcoin or want someone to send me some Bitcoin, I just click on request and there is my unique wallet address. That address belongs to me. It's almost like my account number. No one knows who owns this unless I publicly say I own this address, but it's my address. Now, what if I just want someone to send a QR code? Well, there we go, QR code. Now, if I have a Bitcoin wallet app on my phone, all I have to do is scan that QR code and I can send some Bitcoin to it in about a minute. So here's an example of a Bitcoin wallet on a phone. I've got multiple wallets on my phone. This is how amazing it is. That QR code there is all you require and that Bitcoin address. I can send Bitcoin to you, I can send Bitcoin to my friends, to my family, to an exchange, whatever I want to do. That is Bitcoin, and that is all cryptocurrencies are based on that same amazing revolutionary technology. So guys, I really hope that information helped you learn a bit more about Bitcoin, and we're going to go more into the blockchain technology that is the fundamental underpinning behind Bitcoin in later lectures. So with this lecture out of the way, let's